Thanks for joining me on the Strategic Thinking podcast. It's where we talk about technology in the way that it shows up in real life. This show lives in the messy middle between strategy and the day-to-day, keeping learning, work, and operations moving in the midst of all the other demands on our plate. Most of all, the people that we work with and that we lead. I'm James Symons, and each episode I sit down with IT leaders, operators, and builders across schools, universities, and workplaces. Our promise is simple: practical and candid conversations that just may help IT leaders make technology work while being acutely aware of our responsibilities as leaders of people. If you're here, you're welcome. Pull up a seat and join us. Today's guest is someone who's lived the full arc of leadership growth. From a young, overconfident leader to a thoughtful, servant-minded CTO leading one of Texas's most unique school districts. Dustin Harden runs technology for Clear Creek ISD, which is home to NASA families, national merit scholars, and some of the smartest students you'll ever meet. Smart enough to test his filters on a daily basis. This is an honest, grounded conversation about leadership in modern education. We connect over leadership growth, ego, loud voices in the room, and the humility that comes with experience. Well, I have a really cool guest on the show, and I thought, I'm gonna call him cool. I try and come up with something different every show. I'm gonna get a cool guest. I really am. I know very little about Dustin, and I am really excited to have you come and share your story and try and understand a little bit about why you would choose a career in EdTech, how you got to where you are today, and hopefully we can get to know a little bit about each other as we go. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's very exciting.
Oh, cool. I'm really liking. I think you've got more of a Texan accent than most people that I've had on the show. So I'm digging that. The Australian audience will very much like that. I think I said on one of the earlier interviews that I did, I've just started watching Landman, so I'm getting my Texas culture from that. Is that a fair way to understand what Texas is like, or just West Texas?
Just West Texas.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to be associated with that, or?
I don't know about that. I grew up watching Clint Eastwood movies, so
okay.
Real westerns.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I think we all want to be Yellowstone, like the dramatic Texans, but not so much. But Landman's a good for outside of Texas. There is definitely that exists within the Texas atmosphere for sure.
Right. Now, which part of Texas are you from?
From Houston. Grew up there my whole life, just east of it. Very small town. We used to literally party in cow pastures and
oh, wow.
Like in the middle of nowhere. So it was a very fun place to grow up. But Houston was always right there. Houston's always going to be home for me.
And you're in Houston now?
Just south of Houston. So Clear Creek's actually where NASA is. So the heart of our school district is NASA Space Center. We have board members that work for NASA and retired from NASA. Our parents are very different than any other school district I've worked at before. I remember we randomly thought there was something wrong with Scratch, the little programming tool that kids use, and we blocked it one day on the laptops. And I had 5 parents within an hour messaging saying, "Hey, why is Scratch blocked for my kid?" And I never had that sort of response from parents. They really are invested in their kids' education and the technology side of things. So a very different group of people where we're at. And I'm blessed because I don't have to explain technology that much. They really support everything we do there. It's a great place to be.
So academically, pretty high standard.
Very, very high standards. The number of recognitions we have nationally, the number of national merit scholars, the Ivy League students that we have.
Wow.
I always obviously we have to have internet filters for all of our things. Mm-hmm. The kids are so smart. I mean, it's a constant battle. I challenge the filtering companies all the time. Come out, because our kids are working. We have intermediate school kids. These are 12, 13-year-olds. Different campuses working together on Discourse to get around our filter. And they are so intelligent, and the collaboration they have, it's nothing I've seen before. It's a great, great place.
Interesting you say that it's great that kids are trying to get around your filter. I do like that. I spoke to someone yesterday about this similar situation. Is rather than just hammering down these kids and saying, "Hey, stop that," He's saying, actually, no, we stop and we watch and we see how they're doing it. So explain that to me. Like when you see it, I just love the fact you're excited about these kids can do it.
Well,
so what's the learning for you and how do you respond to that?
Well, it's kind of the both sides because again, I grew up a tech guy, a tech kid that liked to buck the system a little bit. So I see it from their point of view, like, I'm going to get past technology. So one way I'm cheering them on, like, yeah, get it to the man. I'm like, oh no, I am the man. That's not good. I can't. So we do, there's punishments and things, but usually it's like, where did you learn to do this? Let's see if we can try to correct that into positive behavior. We have a great internship program and we catch the kids in intermediate school. We tell them, hey, you might go to in-school suspension or something for a little bit. That's not the end of the world, but if you work hard, go into these programs in high school, you can come work for us. Because that happens sometimes. We actually end up having kids that were on our naughty list that end up being our employees and kind of changing their mindset. And there was one in particular, I had to scare him because he was like doing stuff in the dark web. I was like, look, either the FBI is going to get you or you can come. And he's turned it around. And he's a good kid now. And he's doing some cool stuff with AI in the classroom. And it's like, okay, you're doing the right things. It's nice to see.
I love that. I'm 46 and I still have no idea what this dark web is. So.
It's a weird place, that's for sure.
So you're in the district now. You've always been around the area. What's been your journey? Have you got education background? How did you end up being a CTO of a school district of all things?
I very much fell into it because I started my career off early and then just part of arrogance as well, which I'll get to in a moment. But no, I graduated, again, small town, went off to school, definitely not the normal journey from my peers. I've never been a teacher. I could not teach. If I tried, I don't think I could do it. Have definitely a business mindset. Went off to school for 1 year. I think when I started college, I had like 27 hours of college credit. And so I was basically a sophomore. Still took me 6.5 years to get my bachelor's. And I tell kids that a lot. Like the journey you're going to go on after you graduate high school is so different. There's not like a one size fit all. And I left the 1 year of, I call it real college because I was in a dorm with like a 1.7 GPA, but I was really good at Halo. I was so good at Halo. Oh my goodness. Came back home, went to JUCO, ended up working as a computer technician for my district I graduated from, which was fun. My sister was still in high school. And again, it's a small town. I graduated like 150 kids. Like we all know each other.
Yeah.
And like my 7th grade math teacher, she's now the assistant superintendent of HR for that school district. They're really, really small still. And worked there for a while, went to school at night, became a systems analyst. So kind of went from the IT side to more like the data side for another school district and converted their student information system. And while I was there, my boss at the time, he's a great guy, but he was there a long, long time and just kind of getting his years in. And again, the arrogant side of me, I was 25. I was like, I can do that job. I can do that. And so...
But we know everything at 25.
Right,
so
absolutely.
Like we've met the pinnacle
the
of our
smartest
careers.
human on the planet at 25. And so a job posted for New Caney ISD as a director of technology, randomly applied for it. Went through the first round of interviews. It did okay. The second round of interviews, again, I'm 25. I had to do a presentation in front of 17 people. And I know it was a terrible interview, but for whatever reason, they put the salary a little bit low and they had a lot of educators that were trying to go in there. And the final round was me versus a guy who has a doctorate in education. I found out later. And he was trying to sell himself. He said, if you want just a boxes and wires guy, you hire that other kid that you're interviewing. But if you want an educational leader, you hire me. And they walked out. Well, he didn't realize the district... They had no wireless at the time. They had their IT, their boxes and wires were in shambles. They're like, we actually have good education leadership. Let's hire the kid with boxes and wires. So my 26th birthday, I got the call to become a director. and I had no idea what I was doing. I still talk to that team from New Caney years later, and I apologize to them all the time. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I was learning how to be a person. I was 26. The next youngest person was 32. My administrative assistant, her kids and I were the same age. So it was just like a shock for everyone. Like, I was the boss, but yet I was so much younger, had no experience. But I knew technology.
Mm-hmm.
But I had an amazing mentor there, kept growing into a good leader. I went back, got my MBA. And then Humble ISD was just the border to the south of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a fun story because they had 5 CTOs in 5 years before I got there.
Mm-hmm.
No strategy. Some of my peers told me when I was interviewing there, they said, don't take the job. Don't take that job at Humble. No one can fix it. Again, the arrogance was still there. So I was like, I can fix it. I got it. So I started working. I got that job. I had a great team, great board of trustees, and we did a lot of good stuff there. And that's kind of when I started becoming a leader and realizing why I was doing this. Because a lot of people, you ask that question, why do you work in EdTech? It's for the kids.
Mm.
I tell her, if you want to do something for kids, go to the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Because the kids don't know who I am usually. Kids don't know who a superintendent is. They know principal. They know a teacher. That's who's making the impact in their lives. I've now really come to love growing my team. And I've kind of created this culture of growth. I tell, we don't pay like, since we're in NASA, we don't pay like NASA or there's a SpaceX, all the aerospace people are down there. We don't pay like them. So I said, look, we're going to hire people with good customer service skills, want to teach them technology. And if they're here 3 to 5 years, they're either going to be promoted or they're out. Yep. We're going to find them a bed. And I've got people, 20-year-olds, they'll come work for us. And then in a few years, they'll go work for a chemical company. They're making $150,000, life-changing money. Mm-hmm. And they're so appreciative. They come and apologize. Like, we really want to stay. We like it here. I was like, don't stay. That's good. Do that.
Yeah, that's great.
So we're trying to just do this whole growth mentality built on subservient leadership. Because I see a lot of times with technology, we think that we're getting the smartest people in the room. I was that guy in technology. I realized, no, we're here to really serve everybody, whether it's the community, the teachers. And if you build that as a foundation with your IT department, everything else just comes so naturally. And the trust is there. You can do, just the whole organization starts really enjoying working with you. And everything just becomes easier. So the team is great. The community's great. So I'm really enjoying where I'm at now. It's been a fun journey.
I love the, I knew I was the smartest person in the room comment, right? Like it's, I have a mentor of mine and he was a little cheeky. He was in a board meeting one time with the owner of the company that he was on the board with. And she was just ripping into everybody in the meeting. It wasn't going well at all. Anyway, this is pretty old school. She went outside to have a cigarette in their break for their board meeting. Yeah. and she actually said, he goes, hey, Cheryl, it's not really going too well. She goes, I know. She goes, I'm the smartest person in that room. People should listen to me. And he looked at her and said, Cheryl, you're not even the smartest person in this conversation. And I'm like, good. I want to use that. That's like, who do I get to use that with? Right? So I just thought, what a great comment. But
that's perfect.
But what I love is, one, you thought you were, you look back, we know full well we weren't. Yeah. What was the turning point for you? So at what point did you realize that attitude doesn't cut it, right? Like that, I'm me being the smartest person, me thinking, like, when did the wheels come off for you with that attitude where okay, that's not how things work, right? Clearly for you to be able to articulate you were like that and joke about it means that you grew through that.
It was a growth. It was first realizing the importance of the team. I could do, especially when I worked at Crosby ISD, it was literally 5 of us. So you kind of had to do everything yourself. It was a very small team. Uh-huh. And then you start going to these larger organizations and you just can't get it all done on your own. So I started realizing, okay, I've got to depend upon the team now. It's not a Dustin thing anymore. And when I started using the people I had, and then I started realizing like, oh, wait a second, they're really good at these things. I don't have to make all these decisions. I don't have to do all of this work. And then seeing the growth that they had when I let that go and seeing them become their own leaders and their own, like it was a many year process for me to come to this realization, like this, from the top down leadership mentality, that's a terrible way to lead an organization or a department or anything. And then when I think it was sometime in Humble, I remember there was some project we were working on, and my director at the time came in. He gave an idea. I'm like, that's the smartest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, oh, I don't need to do those things. Now I'm teaching a lot and showing the team like, hey, here's how you for political reasons or whatever. And they're taking that, they're just doing amazing stuff with it. So the more I'm seeing the growth of people, the more it just reinforces my mindset of like, I don't need to be the only person making decisions, and I will never be the smartest guy ever.
So when you do go into a situation, you're like, okay, I know this space well. I think we need to go this way. You meet with your team. All right, guys, I've researched it. I've looked at what we got to do. Here's where we got to go. How do you respond when someone says, hey, just respectfully, Dustin, I'd like to disagree? Or if they say, hey, what if, I get it, I hear what you're saying, but what if, have we considered ABC maybe going this way? Now, where I'm coming from on this one is sometimes when we have put a lot of time and effort into something, if it's really well researched and that's been our thing, how easy is it when you kind of just like, we're ready to go, and then you get this curveball, and then you've got to deal with either, it's too late to move, or no, right, we've put too much into this, or then going, actually, I've got to be curious here and go, is there a possibility that could work? Like, yeah, I suppose I'm maybe not.
No,
hopefully I'm being clear enough.
No, you are. You
okay,
are.
Good. Have a go at trying to answer that from that context.
Of course. I would say I have so much trust in my team. They have so much trust in me. If they came and say, hey, I respectfully disagree, that'd be great. Usually they're like, Dustin, you're very wrong. We're not doing that.
Then you're like, too bad.
We got a great relationship with my whole department, and they have no problem telling me now, like, we're not doing that. Usually, though, it's hey, I have this idea. Either, if y'all want to, let's sit here and talk about it. Or here's an idea. Go downstairs, rip it apart, and come back up here and tell me what direction we need to go with it. It's just that started that spark even an idea, knowing that it's not going to maybe be the final product. And the more people that look at it, the more smarter people you get to, like, what about this? What about that? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. To workshop that, whether I'm in the room or not. Sometimes I'm so busy having to go to meetings and things that are not IT meetings. It's like, hey, I heard this. We need to start doing this. Here's what needs to happen. Here's an idea. I don't care how it gets done. Y'all are smart. Give me a plan. And then when they come back with a plan, I'll poke holes in it as well. And then what about this? What about that? It's a lot of just trust with each other.
Yeah.
And there's collaboration, knowing that, and now it's almost like I don't have to look at even, they don't need to bring anything back to me. It's like, okay, y'all got it. Just take care of it. I'm going to go on to the next big thing that is coming up. So it's really been fun to be able to get to that point in my career.
Yeah, I think holding on to that, being able to let go of some of the things that we think we're actually certain about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I heard Simon Sinek say, I have really strong opinions, but I hold them lightly. And I'm like, I just resonated with that, because I thought, actually, that's kind of me, because I'm the sales guy. Being a sales guy, I get really passionate about ideas just naturally, and I want to tell everyone about them. And in fact, they say sales guys are the easiest people to sell to, and they are, because you could tell me a story, and I'm like, whoa, yes. And then I tell everyone about it, and I sound like an expert when I'm totally not. Right. But, and I think that this is the right way to go, and someone could say something, and and it just has to put the tiniest bit of crack in the armor of my view and my opinion. And I'm like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, forget everything I said. That let's go with you. And sometimes the problem is because I am so adamant, and it's not even necessarily be adamant, because I'm so passionate about the idea. It's almost like people are, well, James, I didn't want to really say anything because you seemed really set on it. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't want that to be the case. I just thought that would be the right way to go. Please don't feel that I'm not open to other ideas. And I've got to kind of wrestle with that sometimes, because people are like, you can come across really strong, your way or the highway. And I'm like, damn it, I don't mean to do that. I do really want that, right?
Yeah, so I fight that a lot. And I don't think I do a good job of, because I'm very opinionated, and I have no problem telling people what my opinions are. my wife struggles because my family, we have the whoever's the loudest wins the argument mentality.
Wow.
Which my 14-year-old son has picked up on too. It's just like he's super loud. It's just like he's right. It's like, how's he right? He's not even talking English. I'm like, nah, he's right. He's loud. But that I got to try to at work push that down sometimes, and it's hard. It is hard because you do get excited. Like, oh, this is the thing. This is talk about trying to put AI in places that's never been before. Like, oh, we need to do this, and not everyone's on board with it. I had another leader the other day directly say the words, "We're just not there yet." I'm like, but we are. We are. Everything is here. You're not. We are, though, as a society. So then you just got to take a step back and realize that, okay, they're not there yet. If they're not where you're at, and with your idea or whatever, you got to scale back that excitement and put some more grounding to it, and just have some conversations to try to get them to at least get to the table to say, okay, we do see this as an idea. Let's continue to move forward with it and poke holes in it, not just say no to begin with.
So when you have a key person on your team who isn't there, as you said, what's your process for moving forward?
Communication. I mean, let's sit down and talk about it. What's the, because maybe they're right. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's not the right time to do it. And that's been a big conversation lately, because I like to move quick. And it's like, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. And this past summer, the team, my leader sat down with me. I said, Dustin, we're tired. Like, oh, but all these cool things. Like, I know, but we're tired, and there's so much technical debt. I'm like, okay, we'll slow down this year. And it's so tough for me, but I had to listen to them and realize that I was pushing too much. Now they're not there, and we need to, because sometimes the orders come from the top, and like, hey, no, this is happening, and I'm vulnerable with them and say, look, I disagree with it too. I don't like what we're doing. We've got to do it though. We're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna make sure that we're doing whatever the plan is, the project, whatever's come down from superintendent, the board, whoever. We're gonna do it the right way, even if we don't agree with what we're doing. Sometimes that's just maturing into realizing the organization is more important than the individual.
What does slowing down look like?
Well, for us, it's I've got big projects that I'd like to get to. Things like trying to get every kid to MFA, something simple like that. But that's a big shift. We can't do it now because there's some new interesting laws. But last summer it was like, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. Let's make this happen. And it was. I sometimes get so excited about the idea, all those little steps to get there. Sometimes I'm missing those because I'm so far removed sometimes now from the technology. So it's them sitting down first going, okay, to do that, here's actually everything that's going to take to get there. And here's all the other stuff that we were just working on. And we're not really finished with all documentation, all these things yet. So it's listening to the team and just going, okay, here, all right. We'll slow down a little bit.
So the district is it growing fast? Is it
No, we're actually
or you're shrinking?
We're shrinking. So, but that was known 10 plus years ago. Okay. We had demographers tell us. So because, again, NASA's where we're at, older families, their kids are grown. Those parents now are probably grandparents, and they're not moving.
So the same gentrification issues as, say, downtown San Antonio have got right now is that people are having to move out to be able to afford to live here
Not,
as well?
not really,
Or-
not a little bit of that, but mainly just because their parents are just not moving. So like the homes are there, but then you've got people, usually, parents downsize. When they have the kids
I
right out of the house,
see.
they're not. They're staying put.
Interesting.
The kids want to move closer to mom and dad when they graduate college. Well, they're moving to the towns over next to us.
Okay.
Out homes are a little bit cheaper. They're newer built. We're kind of landlocked anyways. We're kind of built out.
Okay.
So, so we knew this was going to happen. We knew the birth rates were going to decline some. We're seeing that move faster than what we thought it was going to be. We didn't think it was going to happen so quickly. But I think COVID made that happen. There's been some other factors that made that happen. So we have had some budget issues, but we were prepared. And again, the board knows, and we made those tough decisions with them. It's we've had to downsize IT a little bit. The Creek does something really cool though. We haven't, since I've been there, we don't really do a reduction of force. We do everything through attrition. So even the people are like, hey, these are the positions we're no longer going to have. You still have a job here in Creek. Might not be the job you had, but you still have a position here. Not every school district does that. It's like, hey, we got to let you go and good luck. And that's not how we operate. It's, hey, your position's gone, but we're going to find you a home here. So that way you will continue to have a career.
And what does innovation look like for a district like yourself when resources are not what they maybe were in their heyday?
Tough, because resources aren't there. There's more legislation that's coming down every single day. There's so many external factors. So trying to drive the innovation, keep your test scores up because accountability is so important. Keep your community happy. It's really picking and choosing. It's really, trying to be proactive, but listen to your community, listen to your teachers, make sure you understand what their needs are, what their problems are. And as you correct and make things better for them, try to sew the innovation in with that at the same time. That way you're solving problems and trying to get ahead. That's about the only way you can do it nowadays, just because it's so tough to move forward, unfortunately.
I was having this conversation earlier with someone, and the question we're kind of asking is what do technology companies need to be doing, or vendors, almost like Lock and Charge or any other company that you're dealing with or working with, what do they need to be doing? I mean, we've got a trade show here that is full of people trying to sell you stuff. Right? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I would love 90% of this. I just cannot afford it. But then I'm hearing people say, well, we're not really going to, our strategy is to not even go and talk to the districts that have budget constraints. And you're like, well, no, please don't do that either. Like, we need to know how we can actually have our dollar go further and do a whole lot more with less.
Right.
So what would your advice be to, not even necessarily your advice, but it's like, hey, James, like, this is actually what I need you focusing on. Please don't try and sell me on this or do this. Like, I need you to understand this, and I still need your help.
Right.
But take it from this perspective, right? Like, what should they be doing rather than just ignoring you and going, you don't have money? It's like, what do you need from these guys?
I think some patience, and transparency, and creativity. And what I mean by each of those is you're right. You have to still keep trying to talk. Even if we're going through budget cuts, those relationships are important. Because eventually there will be funds, whether it's through state funding, federal funding, like the CARES Act dollars and the ESSER dollars. Like, no one saw that coming. If you have those relationships built beforehand, that's why that you have those built. So when those funds do become available for whatever reason, the trust is there that I'm going to go use these companies that worked with me, even or just checked in on me when I didn't have the money.
Sure. Yeah.
The transparency piece, I think, is tough because, we know you have to make money, and a lot of times, I see some of the bigger names in there. I'm not going to say which ones, but we know the big names. Sometimes I see some things where, like, are you just trying to make $1? Like, they're publicly traded. They've got to answer their investors and all of that. But if they were just a little bit more transparent, like, hey, here's our profit that we're making off of this. And just, of course, you've got to make money, but don't upcharge it so much so just because you can.
Yeah.
And I think some of them, unfortunately, have fallen into that, just trying to, you see so many mergers and acquisitions now that they're trying to pay off those debts. And I just don't think K-12 is where you should make that money at.
Yeah. Sure.
If you're just a K-12 company, that's a little bit different. But some of those bigger names in there, they could make their money elsewhere. And I think the ones that are doing good with that are very successful. I'll bring up like a CrowdStrike, for example. They have a contract with Texas, and it is so cheap for us.
Wow.
And I know Exxon and the big companies, they don't pay what we do. And they've found some unique blend of, hey, we're going to like basically make no money on the sale of the product, but they're doing such a good job of the highlighting the market share and things. They're making up for that in their on their stocks and things like that.
Sure.
So that's great, and like we appreciate the ones that are able to and be transparent about it. And then the only other thing was, like I said, being creative. So sometimes for us, for example, I do have money to do X, Y, and Z. If vendors can be a little bit more adaptable to know, like, hey, I need to buy some new servers, let's say. Okay, with the servers, I need to protect them. Well, let's go ahead and put the antivirus. Let's package everything together on a single quote. Everyone gets a little bit of share of the pie, but I'm not going to have like multiple quotes, because then I'm going to go to the board multiple times. So it's like trying to package everything together as much as you can, knowing that I've got to do this, I've got to purchase this. What else can I do? Be creative to further those dollars. And that's just working with everyone in the room. Everyone just being a little vulnerable with each other, like the laptop and the cases and this and that. Let's put all that together. Yeah. That's everyone knowing that, okay, let's take a little bit of cuts here, a little bit of cuts there, so the district still gets what they want, and you're all up to make sales to us. It's some sort of weird packaging. We've had some success with that.
You have,
but some companies don't want to do that. They're like, no, I don't want to work with them. Well, okay, well, I'll find someone who will.
Well, I think also too, just being on the other side is sometimes you may find some companies don't know that they're invited to the table to do that either.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
We're like, you're someone that will pick up the phone, but sometimes we're like, hey, I think there's something we could work with you guys on, but it's like, I literally can't get through to anyone. Right. So I think it's definitely probably a two-way street, but I think more so on our side and from the vendor side is to go, I kind of see what you're saying too, is like, we give very different pricing to education to corporate,
right?
Not to rip the corporate off, but to understand, we understand those budget constraints, but even then, depending on what it is, there's got to be ROI. There's got to be, for you guys to see the value in it. Otherwise, you probably shouldn't be really spending any. And that's one of the struggles I think that I've seen is how can we, because I really love what you're saying. I would love to sit down more often with leadership to say, hey, what do you need from us? Like, I get you've got tight budgets. How can we be creative? Right. Well, you're right. Maybe we can just do it in this case, or we could think of doing it like, I think we've thought of it all wrong. Why don't we have one central location for this rather than try and do it everywhere, and we can literally rip this price in half and possibly get 90% of the result of the other option that was 100%. But it is actually about being creative.
It's just getting forward, right? We're still moving the needle forward. And a lot of people, they're like, well, we can't do everything. We're not going to do it at all. Like, that's not the answer either. Yeah. Let's start somewhere and just kind of build into it.
Yeah, I would, we would definitely invite. I know there's a lot of manufacturers that there's a lot of really, they get it. They understand from the education. You're dealing with people, right? And you're dealing with people working for companies that have kids in your district, for goodness sake. They know the constraints. They don't want to see money wasted. They don't. So hopefully that is, I love that invitation, at least that would be the way that you would work or seeing others. And that's, I think that's a good voice to be projected out to other schools to say, invite this, right? And have those guys come to the table and say, here, you want to do business with us? This is what we've got. Right. You work out how to make it work. Like, this is the result we need. Right. If you can deliver that within this, I'm like that with people that sell to me. It's like, if you can prove to me that you're going to, if the solution you're providing to me is going to be exponentially less than what I'm paying for without your solution. Why the hell would I not do it, right? But if the pain of me changing is greater than the pain of same, or financially or time or effort, I was like, why the heck would I do it, right? So it's on me that if I cannot, and my team, we have no right to talk into anyone anyway, if we are not able to show that this is absolutely worthwhile. And we're like, why would,
So that like you just said though, how often do you really have that opportunity to have that doors open and
it is hard. I mean, you do get it. There are.
No.
The good thing is you are in good company with some people that will do that.
Right.
But there are, I think the bigger you get, there's greater levels of separation, and you got a lot on your plate, right? Like
I do.
And it's not like, but hence you sound like someone that empowers your team to do a lot of that sort of stuff, and are probably like-minded in the same way.
Yeah, I think if I would have started that earlier, I wouldn't be so bald right now. But I lost all my hair very early. I had gone back though since I've changed my mindset. But no, one of the things I just want to talk about, like the vendor and district relations. 2 vendors recently reached out to me to talk to another school district because I do try to get creative on some things. And I also think there is a problem with school districts not getting creative in some different ways.
Sure.
And they've been like, hey, reach out to Creek and ask them how they did this, because they don't. You're saying you don't know how how I package things together. Like we passed bonds here. And a couple legislations ago, they made some changes about you can use cloud services with bond funds. And so we got creative this year and said, hey, for our Azure spend, we're going to start doing Azure spend with bond funds. And it's very legal. Some districts are like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We do not want to do that. Some districts I've said, you can sign multi-year contracts. When you buy hardware, you can buy software with the hardware and do absolutely not what I'm doing that. Well, why? Why aren't you doing that? It's legal. I've done it here. There's other districts that are doing it. Why won't you? It's also just trying to get some of the districts to the table as well to understand you cannot operate if we have all these constraints. If you're giving yourself more constraints, you're really just,
And if people aren't creative, they're leaving money on the table.
They are.
Right?
They are.
And they're not using what is actually entitled to them within the realms of what they have available.
Right.
You talked about speaking to other districts. One of the things I think in the 2 seconds that we chatted before you got on is that you said that a lot of the CTOs in your area you connect. You've got
all over Texas.
Oh, all over Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And that formally, informally?
Both. I mean, we have some conferences we go to. They're just like, technology leadership that we work together.
You're on like a WhatsApp group chat?
There is a Slack apparently.
There is
for
a
the
Slack?
Houston group, but
that's cool.
but no, informally as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Kara, who you had on earlier, I've known her for many, many years.
Yeah.
We get in these roles, and we're, we have a retirement system and a pension. So we all know each other.
Yeah.
And we do collaborate, because if a district's struggling, we want to know, like, hey, why did that purchasing that or going through that process, why was that a struggle? Whether it's a new laws come out and it's how did you adapt to this? If someone's doing it better, there's no reason. We all have the same constraints usually.
Yeah.
And that is something beautiful about K-12, is that we're really not in competition with each other.
Right. Sure.
We just want kids to be successful, no matter what that is. I know in Texas, we have issues, quote unquote, with the voucher system. They're stealing kids from public schools. I don't think we need to look at it like that. It's more of, there's some kids that don't do good in a public school environment. A private school environment might be a lot better for that child. And I think the more we think of that mentality, that we're just here, we want children to be successful in life. We want them to become a successful adult.
Yeah.
Now we all of our guard is down. There's no intellectual property with that.
Yeah.
Now we're just sharing ideas and all trying to get better at the same time. And that's, like you said, the enterprise side of things. I try to go to some enterprise of, conferences, and they're all just like, there's not talking to each other. There's no collaboration. There's no communication because it's trade secrets and there's things like that. We don't have that at all.
And do you find that community to be integral part of what you do. Like
Absolutely.
that's really important for like that your confidence, just to be able to like vent and have people go, they get you, they understand when you go there.
Yeah, because you can't vent to your team about the CFO, because then they'll have a different mentality of that. But that other district that you're friends with, they're having the same struggle with leadership, and so it's good to vent. But again, it's even better when it's like, hey, I heard you're doing this.
Yeah.
How are you doing that? It's like, oh, got it. I would spend weeks trying to figure out a problem that they've already solved, and then we have no problem sharing. And it's just really, really cool to always have that. I mean, my best mentors are other CTOs, and now I'm no longer the young kid. I'm trying to be that for other up and coming CTOs as well, and it's good. It's fun. It's fun to not have to worry about what you say to your peers. Like, oh yeah, this vendor's doing this. Like, oh, they're doing that with me too. Like, oh, let's both get on the phone with them. Let's go talk to them together. And there's power in that collaboration as well.
Well, note to self, I just better make sure that we're charging the same price to everyone within Texas.
That might happen a lot, actually.
Hey, Dustin, I am really glad we got to have this conversation. I've enjoyed hearing your perspective, and it's been incredibly unique compared to every conversation I've had so far at this the TCA Live series. Is everyone is dealing with issues in a really unique way, but all of them are very thoughtful and based on life lessons on, I do this now because of this. Absolutely. And I'm so glad to hear just your journey. I probably resonate with your story more than anyone else's, because I, again, like
Were
I
you
said,
very arrogant
when I was
as well?
No, I was never arrogant. No. At 25, I can say, I remember saying I knew everything. That's actually when I bought into the company with my dad. He started the company when I was 25, and he bought out his business partner. And for me to stay on, I had to buy in. And I'm like, what are you, like, why do I have to buy into the company? Like, I give my life to this, and who cares if I've got skin in the game, and nothing's going to change. Anyway, I had to sell my house and put all the equity into the business. And then you're on the line, I'm like, okay, Dad, you were right. Like, everything changes when you got skin in the game. Like, it's like, but I think that was that turning point for me. Is like, I know so little. And I think as we get older, we realize the less that we know. And,
Absolutely.
And I can see that coming from your journey and the way that you're willing to work with your team. It's really inspirational. I definitely resonate with the loudest person in the room. And that's something I'm very guilty of, is that is usually... someone did say to me, he goes, usually it's the loudest person or the last to speak that decides how the decision is made. And when I heard that, it was so confronting, because I'm like, crap, that is me all the time. And I'm like, I just had to do my best to peel that back, and I still screw it up. But it was like I needed someone to say that to go, oh, it's just a stab in the heart.
But you're getting to a point in your life where you are able to recognize it. Maybe not at the exact moment, but then after, at least like maybe 20 minutes after, like, oh, I did that again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. The more we can work on like knowing it in real time to try and shift, that's the challenge.
Well, then just having people around you that you have that trust with, the relationship with, that will even tell you, like, I don't care how loud you get, you're wrong. And I really enjoy the team I have been able to do.
This so hard to hear. It's like, yes, this is, you and I are kindred spirits. It has been a wonderful conversation. I look forward to following your journey, and hopefully have you back on the show sometime in the future.
Definitely.
And thanks so much for your time. It's been a real honor. Catch you later.